Welcome to Consumers Energy presentation for customers who are installing gas and/or electric service to a new home or building. Good day, my name is Shari Zamore and I am a technician here at Consumers Energy. This presentation is one in a series for customers installing new service. This presentation addresses real estate aspects for those installing gas and/or electric service to a new home or building on their property. Here, we delve into the critical details related to real estate and property rights. Our goals with this presentation are to ensure your understanding of various property rights, including easements, right-of-ways, and permits required to deliver a stellar installation experience. Easements are the permissions and rights to work on various properties near and surrounding your property. Consumers Energy must often obtain easements to construct your project. To get started on this task, first work with your project coordinator to determine a proposed route. After a route is determined, several activities ensue. Designers work on the design, and our real estate group determines what property rights currently exist and what rights will be needed, if any. In addition, the proposed route is sent to our permitting group. This group determines if any permits are required to conduct the work you have requested. Let's dive deeper into some basic terminology and then look at an example. We'll start with easements. Easements are the right to use a portion of another person's property for a specific purpose. After service is installed, the easement continues into the future so Consumers Energy has continued access to the area for maintenance. Some people think an easement means Consumers Energy is buying their land. This is not true. An easement is the right to use a portion of the land for a specific purpose. In our case, an easement gives us permission to install and maintain gas and electric power lines. Property owners retain the right to use and enjoy their property, even after they have granted an easement, subject to Consumer Energy easement rights. Easements from your neighbors may be required to bring gas and/or electric service to your location. If the route to deliver electricity crosses your neighbor's property, they need to grant us the right to cross their property to get to yours. This is a point in the process where we could use your help. For example, talking with your neighbors to obtain easements could reduce the project's timeline. We have found that people are more likely to relate to a neighbor that they know versus a company representative. Let's look at an example of an easement. This project requires two easements. One easement is needed from the lot with the existing home on Lot 1 to extend the gas or electric utility to the new home on Lot 2. The owner of the new lot needs to sign an easement as well for the portion of the utility on their property. In our example, if the owner of Lot 1 does not want to sign the easement, the project would be affected. This is where it becomes very helpful for you to speak with your neighbors to gain their permission. This is called securing the route. If your neighbor still refuses to sign the needed easement, consumers will look at design alternatives. However, it is still your responsibility to provide a route. If you know your neighbors will not agree to an easement, please let us know as soon as possible. We can look at design alternatives and hopefully avoid a delay in delivering your service. It is very likely that consumers will also need to do some work along the road in the right-of-way. So now that we have used the term right-of-way, what does it mean? A right-of-way is an area of land surrounding roads and other properties that is reserved for public purposes. Permits are documents from municipalities such as cities, counties, or townships to work in the roadway or near railroads, drains, or areas of environmental concern. For example, to bore underneath a road, work within city right-of-way work in wetlands, near a railroad, and many other situations may require specific permits. Keep in mind that government units vary in how strict they are and how quickly they respond to a request for a permit. Consumers Energy has experience in obtaining permits and will take the responsibility for obtaining these documents. The cost of permits, however, is the customer's responsibility. Some permits can take 2 weeks or months to obtain based on the procedures of the specific municipality. And in the case of working with railroads or the Department of Natural Resource permits, obtaining a permit can take from 9 months to over a year. Consumers Energy will obtain permits from counties and other government units, such as the Michigan Department of Transportation, for example, to conduct work within these right-of-ways. Note that permits to work within the road right-of-way is just one example of a permit that is generally required in this circumstance. Providing a copy of your deed to your project coordinator or technician can often prove helpful in speeding up the process. Our real estate group will also obtain copies of your neighbor's deeds if necessary. Because deeds are recorded, a copy should be on file in your county register of deeds. If you are aware your property is owned by a trust, under the land contract or under a lease, please inform your project coordinator at the outset and provide any documentation if possible. Easements are the permissions and rights to work on various properties near and surrounding your property. Consumers Energy must often obtain easements to construct your project. To get started on this task, first work with your project coordinator to determine a proposed route. After a route is determined, several activities ensue. Designers work on the design, and our real estate group determines what property rights currently exist and what rights will be needed. In addition, the proposed route is sent to our permitting group. This group determines if any permits are required to conduct the work you have requested.